So can you give me a round of applause for Loung Ung? So actually I wasn't supposed to be here to be the moderator. I was supposed to have somebody else, but this is the request by Ricky Pan. So he's like, perhaps you have to be the moderator, you have to talk to Logan. It's like, yes, whatever you request. So, but it is an honor to be here. Thank you for coming down. I know you were in like promoting the movie in the East Coast, the West Coast, but you are here in Cambodia town. Welcome to Cambodia town. Can you come fly?
I love it here. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be here together and really to show the world of film.
Is this your first? This is not your first time in Logan, is it?
No. I mean, my brother lives in the LA, so I'm here a lot. I just well, it's the first time in the theater. Because normally I go to the restaurants. I would just vacuum. And I just had this Loung Ung there, which is very good, and Loung Ung, which is very good. So yeah, I mostly just come here to hang out with people and eat.
So I'm just gonna ask you a little bit about the movie. I know I'm not sure like, when you watch it how it reflects back to you, but getting back to when you started writing the book of First Kill My Father. At what age, when you started to think like I have to put this in pages and scriptures and start working on your book?
I wrote my book in 1999, and at that time, I remember waking up one day in 1990, I believe it was April 15th, and Pol Pot, the Khmer leader, had just died. And I was living in Washington, D.C., and I remember it was a spring, beautiful day, blue sky, birds chirping, white clouds, green buds on a tree, and I was walking to the office, having a really nice, lovely spring morning. And then I got to the office, and I just heard on the news on the radio that Pol Pot had died. And then my mind picked up an interview, or I heard an interview on the radio where Pol Pot said everything he did for love of the country. And I just became so enraged and so angry because love does not a genocide make. Love does not kill 1.7 to 2 million Cambodians out of a population of 7 million people. Love does not in Cambodia, create in Cambodia today, a country the size of the state of Oklahoma is littered with over 20,000 mass graves. And so this was not what love looks like to me, and I want to take my pen and negate that legacy and write a different story of love, a story of family, of culture, of history, of brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers and sacrifices and dignity and courage and beauty and resiliencies and humanity. That is love, not the Khmer genocide.
How long did it take you to write the book?
It probably took me, like the work on the first draft, about 6 months. Yeah, when I knew I wanted to write it, a writer writes. A published writer gets her work published for various different reasons. And so for me, that was my desire, my mission. And then I finished the first draft of the book probably in about 6 months. But then it's a year of trying to find publisher, a year of trying to find agent, a year of trying to get the work out. Because people can understand it, and when it came out, the book was published in 2000 of April. I had hope and prayed that 10 people would pick it up. That would be, it was my way, it was the story I wanted to write, and I didn't want to change anything. I did it the way I wanted to do it, in the voice of a child, in a first person present tense. And so I didn't want to, I did it my way. And, if people like it, it's great. If they didn't like it, 10 people in my family would get it. And so I'm really, really proud and that it's been supported by more people than that.
Thank you. And I think when Angelina went to Cambodia when she filmed her movie Tomb Raider, is that when she picked up your book? And I heard that she picked it cost like $2 and she bought a bootleg version of your book. Everything is bootleg over there in Cambodia, but we love it.
It's Yeah, she bought a bootleg version of my book, so she owes me $5.
You gotta collect on that too. You gotta collect. Now I actually got a little money. You gotta collect that
Those kids are wonderful though, because the kids always in Angkor Wat, always in Phnom Penh too. I've been back to Phnom Penh 35 plus times now because I work for an organization called Teen Plant Rehabilitation Center. And they make prosthetic limbs, legs, wheelchairs, mobility devices for victims of landmines, victims of war. And in our center, we've worked and helped over 26,000 people. And so I go back to Cambodia a lot. And the kids are always, I go and they look at me and they're like, oh, it's your book. And I said, yes, it's my book. And they say, yes, but for $5 you can have it. So Angelina was $5.
So, I mean, when she picked up the book and read it, and then when was the first time she called you and said, you guys became friends afterwards? How did that happen? Like, her people call your people?
No. Yeah, you would think that was how it's supposed to work. No, she called me on the phone. Like, and I was in my office working late one night, and I picked up the phone, and this voice asked for me. And I was working, so I didn't want to be interrupted. And they said, I'm not sure Loung Ung is in the office right now. Can I ask you to call?
You were your own manager?
I didn't recognize her voice. And then she said, oh, it's Angelina Jolie. And then I finally heard her. And I was like, let me put you on hold. Hello, hi, this is Loung Ung. Talk to my
And then you guys became friends afterwards?
We talked and then it turned out we were going to be in Cambodia at the same time. And so we met up in Cambodia and we've been friends for 16, 17 years.
And then why did it take so long to actually make to have the movie made? I know she's been talking about it for a while, and from what I've heard was Maddox wanted to be a part of it and wanted to know more about his brutal history. And then you guys engaged into it to get the movie made?
Well, I'm a writer. I love words. And also, my husband and I'm also an activist. I work with various different projects in Cambodia. I also have 3 restaurants and 2 microbreweries in Cleveland. So making and turning a book into a film wasn't my life's mission. I've always thought it was, if the book speaks to people, they'll read it. And if it speaks to people who want to turn it into a film, it's going to be with the right people, the right team, the right intention, and the right group of people, or not at all. And so Angie expressed interest. We talked about it for many years, and we just stayed friends and hung out. But we always said that if we were going to do it, we wanted to do it because of family. And we wanted to do it with family. With her son, Maddox is now 16, with my family's blessing, going to Cambodia as a family so we could just be together on a whole journey. And so it was very important for her and for me. I've known Maddox since he was 7 months old. And so I'm very close to him. And I don't have children of my own. So she has 6 kids. And I'm an auntie. But I'm outside of Angelina, I was one of the few women who's been in Maddox's life all these years. And we wanted to make sure that this is his story as well. And he's going to have to learn about his culture and his country. And we wanted to be, she wanted to make sure that he's going to be okay with it. And when he was ready, and a couple of years ago, he called up and he said, I'm ready. And we said, all right, let's go. And then we went and made the film together.
Nice. So, making the film, I remember talking to you and said, when I go on set, they were just trying to make sure that I don't get into trouble. Can you explain that a little bit, where you're like a troublemaker on set? Because I know it's based on your life, and you're like, that is wrong, I don't do it that way.
No.
I don't eat the tarantula like that.
I'm a troublemaker in life, and I'm proud of it. But it's, I think what happens with movies, with a book, it's a very solitary event. When you write a book, it's you and your computer and your demons and your words. And sometimes those words are the demons. You gotta work on them. But when you're working on a movie, it's a collaboration. It's an orchestra. It's a beautiful symphony. And so you got the director who's a maestro, and then you got, the percussion section, and then the drums, and then the violins, and then the horns, and everybody, worked together, whether they were us makeup artists or set builders. I mean, we had thousands of Khmer people on the set every day who were making our, cut our hair, our costume, or set directors, and then all the creative people. And I feel like this was really, all of us had a voice in the narrative that you see on the screen. If you like the way it looked, that is a testament to Khmer talent. If you like our actors, those are Khmer actors, Khmer performers, Khmer creative people, Khmer talents. I mean, we had a large crew, but I was so very proud to be with a new generation of Khmer artists.
And getting back to words, like you said, words are powerful. I remember meeting Loung Ung a while back at a CBAC 30-year anniversary. And I remember I'm going up there as a guest, and she's also like a guest speaker. And she's on stage, and like, who is this lady like speaking so vocally? And she's like, don't wait for things to happen. Go out there and raise hell. I'm like, what? I'm gonna do that. So she inspired me, and this is the Cambodia Town Film Festival is the byproduct of some of her speech made. To not just sit around, make things happen for yourself, and don't wait around for other people to do it for you. You want to do something, go out there and do it. And thank you for all these words of encouragement. And how was it like watching the film for the first time, seeing your life portrayed on screen?
It's, it's really, there were parts that were just heartbreaking. And we premiered the film in Cambodia in February. We went and screened it to thousands of Khmer people in Angkor Wat. We screened it, the first premiere was in Angkor Wat at the Elephant Terrace. And it was just magical to be, the king mother, and the king and the queen mother came, the dignitaries and people who were in their finest Khmer clothes, and then the villagers, and then the NGOs, and then the students, and just 2,000 people in where, the place that the Khmer civilization started. And it was so beautiful, it was so magical. And I was sitting in a room with 33 of my family members, aunts and uncles and relatives and nieces and nephews, and that was, for me, the most nerve-wracking part of this whole experience. To be in Cambodia, to show it to Cambodians, to be with my family, to show it in a place where this happened, to be among people where this happened too, all of us, all of our strength, all of our beauty. So I did not sleep at all that night. I think I felt like, I was literally felt like I was going to be sick all day. And then people came up and told us they loved the film. They see that we made it with love, with honor, with respect. And after that, this is all kind of fun. I'm actually okay, but that was the most important thing. With that said, I prepared myself to be strong for the war scenes, which as a child were the things that scared me the most. The bomb, the soldiers, the vest, and I thought this was going to really break me again. Seeing it on the screen, it didn't, it touched me, but it didn't, I wasn't afraid. I'm not afraid of the soldiers anymore. But then seeing the first scene of the family sitting together for dinner, that tore me. I don't have images and pictures of my family sitting together for dinner. I don't have that anymore. And the last time my family, we were able to sit together for dinner was before the war. And seeing them on the screen almost came, it almost like brought them back to life. And it brought me back to a place where I wish I had a different dream, where I wanted my family to be together. And so every scene of beauty really is so much harder for me to watch. The sister brushing each other's hair, and the family and the love is so much harder for me to watch than the war.
Were you in school before the Khmer Rouge invaded? Before the Khmer Rouge took over?
I was in kids' school. I was in candy school, really.
So your first, technically your first school was when you were being recruited by the Khmer Rouge.
Oh yeah.
And then you're literally in the camps.
Yes. I went to school. I went to Chinese school. I went to Cambodian school. My brothers and sister and I were studying French and English. My father was a huge advocate of education, and he always wanted all the children to be educated. And but my first real school, but as a child before the war, I went because somebody was people bribed me to go to school. They gave me candies, they gave me, money for, low chat on the street.
Từ đi được 3 năm rồi.
Oh, I know, really, yeah.
Từ đi kẹo 3 năm.
Yeah, mine, I was small, I walked around, yeah, but, so the Khmer Rouge was my real first experience with what I thought was school. And the school was all propaganda, the school was teaching me hate, the school was teaching me to hurt, the school was not teaching me anything in my head to be critical thinkers, to be leaders, to be a compassionate human being, to be a good global citizen. The school taught me everything, in our world that would actually harm our world as opposed to make it better.
There's the scene where the Khmer home came into the city, and then there's a dream sequence of the Hapaman.
Yes.
And then the Khmer Rouge came in and he walks past by the Hapaman.
Yeah.
Is that a dream sequence that you had, or was this like an artistic way of showing just for the film itself?
Yeah. Angie and I worked on the script together, so we're co-writers of the script. And she's a great storyteller. I mean, she's a wonderful human being. She's a great director. She's also just a really good woman, a very good artist. And for her, one of our actors, like the boy who plays Toy, is training as a Hanuman dancer. And so when she learned this and she saw his video, she said, "Oh, you got to put that in." And our thought is, and her focus is to put as much of Khmer culture and beauty into the film as we could. And so the Hanuman is very special in the Khmer story. Apsara, the flowers, the lotus, how it symbolizes that lotus flowers will grow out of the dirtiest mud and still become pure, beautiful flowers. And so there were so many times when we put in Khmer smile, Khmer joy, as much love and culture as we could, and also Buddhist scenes in the end.
Yeah, that I was going to ask you about the lotus, because on the poster before an official poster came out, there was a picture of a lotus,
Yeah.
a pink lotus. So that's what it symbolized for you. That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
Like it could be the dirtiest of all places, but also it can have a strong stem that grows up and blossoms to be the most.
I mean, in my
beautiful.
mind, it's just like it's not dirty in terms of physical dirty, but of the trauma and the war and the suffering and the pain, and that a lotus flower can grow out of all of that darkness and that murkiness, and then still come out pure and beautiful. And it's also the flowers that we take to our temples, right? And so it's pure, it is beautiful, and it's soulful.
And thank you guys for coming out. It's one Phnom Penh weekend too, so I know how important that is. And also, I know you were a child soldier and you were setting up booby traps and landmines, but have you killed anybody? Like physically, shot or killed anybody?
I am, we laugh about this. I'm very, very fortunate. And I don't want to make light of this because I have not myself hurt or taken another life. But I know people who were, and friends of ours, people you know, who were recruited into as child soldiers at 13, 14, and then who had and were forced to do horrible things and to themselves and other people that scars them to this day. And these are people that I know, these are people who are wonderful human souls, and we are constantly working to redeem ourselves. So I'm very, very blessed that the war ended when it did. Had it not, I have no doubt I could have done it. Because I was trained to hate, I was trained to hurt, and I was living in fear. And so, a human soul, I think that, in our world, we look at people and we admire people. And there are people like, Gandhi, who are so special that under intense pressures, they don't break. I believe that, for me, in my experience, many of us are just people. We're doing the best we can with what we have on a daily basis. And if you put enough pressure and you hurt us enough and you take away our loves and our families, we do break. We do have a breaking point, which is why it's so important for all of us to get involved so that to be there for each other, to support each other, to do things like this, to educate each other so that we are not forced to be at that breaking point alone. As human beings, we should not have to face this breaking point. We forced under this. And we were talking before about what it takes to make a difference. It takes knowing that peace is not an automatic. That peace, whether it's in your heart, in your community, in Long Beach, in your home, at your school, it's not something you wish for and it's granted. It's not something you desire and expect others to give it to you. It is not something you want and wait for the government to deliver it. It is something you commit, devote to, strategize, work on a daily basis.
Yeah. And also thank you, because she's been a long contributor to the Cambodia Town Film Festival. She actually sponsored some previous year as well. So I'm going to open up to the audience now to ask them a few questions. Anybody has questions?
Hello there. I just want to say, my name's Timothy, and I just want to say thank you so much for writing your book. I was only 10 years old when I read it, and I didn't know anything about my culture or what happened to my grandma or my grandpa or my family in general. My grandma had just passed away, and I was so sad that I couldn't talk to her more about her story, but hearing more about her story just inspired me to pursue and work on a documentary, capture the story that my family went through. And I guess my question for you would be, how are you able to do it? You went through so much trauma, you went through so much pain, but you bloomed into a beautiful lotus flower and were able to share your story with individuals like myself when I was just a kid and inspire me as a kid to follow his dreams and to just tell stories of a story that hasn't been told in a long time. How did you do it?
Wow. Thank you so much, and thank you for your kind words. I think I'm very, very blessed. I grew up with two parents who I knew loved me. So I didn't have to worry about that. I knew I was loved. And when there were times and I was going through difficult periods and had dark thoughts and thought badly of myself, I always, there was another voice in my head that said to me, my parents were special people and they were good people. They were good human beings. And if they loved me, I couldn't be that bad. I couldn't be that horrible of a child if such special people loved me. And that gave me a little bit, that gave me the self-esteem and the confidence to walk in the world and to be okay. And I think on the other point, I don't think there's anything special about me. I think we're all doing it. I think everybody in this room are doing it right now because we're here. Because the second generations of children and you and nieces and nephews, you're here. So you've done it, they've done it, and we continue to be here. I may have a bigger platform right now because I'm a writer, but even when I'm not writing, I'm doing it in my restaurant. And even when I'm not up here, I hope to do it with my niece Nancy, who's here, texting away, because she's tweeting this.
No texting in here.
And she's being my assistant today, but I don't think there's. I just got very lucky. I got very blessed. I have very good friends. I'm very loyal to my friends, and so that loyalty and that trust had fostered into a relationship, a working relationship together. And I do take good care of myself. I do. For me, it's not about what I do. I want to walk in this world as a decent human being. I'm not trying to be a great person. I'm not trying to be a bad person. I just want to be a decent human being who can look myself in the mirror and say, I'm okay. I did the best I could. And that's all we could ask for. And we're all doing that right now.
To make so things, is it okay if I call you? My name is Tiffany Lytle, and I just wanted to thank you so much for writing your book, creating this beautifully done film. And one of my favorite things is that there are little parts in your story that I think a lot of people can connect with. So thank you for that. I do have a question. I was curious about how the actors themselves, while on set, dealt with the serious emotions that would come up from these very hard scenes, and how did you guys deal with that? And how did maybe some of the characters that were playing the tougher roles, like the Khmer leaders, how did they deal with reliving that kind of experience, or kind of understanding that experience?
We first of all, the set, we were on the ground for over 4 months, and then with prep work, we were there for about, I was there for 6 months. And I was on the set pretty much every day, and got to be very, very close to the cast, and to the cast kids and the cast parents. It was very much a family set, because we were going out to make a story about family. And so, with that said, we also always, had therapists on set. We also had Spirit House. We filmed in many locations, and we had Spirit House, and there was always a pile of incense sticks. So that anytime anybody, should they want to talk to somebody, their therapist and their doctors, and for the kids, there are Lego tents, and then there are toys, there are coloring books, there are balls that they can play with, and for adults, my adults, there are the Spirit House. They can go and they can go pray and they can meditate. So we all that was done, but people did have a difficult time. Some of the soldiers, the guys who played the Khmer soldiers, they shared that they had so little power during the war that they wanted, it was their contribution. It was their contribution to you, to the world, of what really happened. And so even though if the price was for them to deal with their difficult emotions, just to give this to us, it was their gift. And it gives me chills to say that, because I sincerely, truly mean it when I say that all of us on the set, we all went there wanting to tell the most authentic story of what happened in the best of our abilities. And it wasn't just the soldiers, but the women. On the day we had to do the Pa's execution scene, the custom person who had to tie the blindfold, she had a hard time. And so then she and her friends went to burn incense. And she was not an actor and didn't play hers, but her job was to tie blindfolds after blindfolds and then to lead them into the grave. And they had a hard time. So we all had experiences like that. But what was so special was that we were never alone. We were never alone. We were always together. We were always looking out for each other. And every time we saw one or the other having a difficult time, people were next to them, touching their sleeve, holding their hands, going off and burning incense with them. So I think that amplified. I think that really helped a lot. For the cast kids, I talked to them a lot that this was my story. It was happened to me. And when the actors got very sad, there are times that she couldn't relate. She's so young. She couldn't relate to what really happened, but she was so sad because it happened to me. And so she was sad for me. She was crying for me. And so when she was going through those experiences, she was thinking of me because she loves me so much. And you've seen pictures of us on Facebook. She kind of looks like me and acts like me. And we're kind of like two peas in the same pod. And she's bossy like me. So we were, and they were always together, and we were very open and very transparent with each other.
Was there any injury on set?
Not that I know of. Oh no, wait, the lead stunt guy, I think, was frightened out of his heart. Because the little girl, Leslie Boy, she loves eating spiders. She loves, playing with them. And then we found out that one of the lead big stunt guy was afraid of spiders. So and she's so cute, with her innocent gaze. She goes up to him, with her hands behind her back, like, hi, and then she just went like this and tossed it at him. So I think he might have scared out of his shell.
I remember, because me and Katie, we just worked on our first feature film in the life of music. And I remember they were in Cambodia and we were casting, and Johnny Man was in here with Johnny. So Johnny said, hey man, Angelina Jolie is casting all the Cambodians. we're not gonna have any Cambodians for a movie. So I remember Katie goes, Johnny, we're in Cambodia. There are Cambodians. We can find Cambodians. And I remember there's this scene where the Khmer Hong was coming into in the Battambang. And it was surreal because we have like a truckload of Khmer Hong too. And I don't know how that plays out in Battambang when you see all these truckloads of Khmer Hong going different directions. It's just, yeah.
And it's the wonderful thing too. It's that I hope people see this and not only see it for the story and the remembrance but also see that Cambodia is beautiful. Cambodians are talented. Cambodians helped make this epic film. And so when Hollywood and other people across the world think that, well, this can't be done in Cambodia, well, it got done in Cambodia. In the beautiful Cambodian language with all Khmer cast, with so many, majority of Khmer crews, and so...
Like Joe Soleil.
No, God, no, there's no Joe Soleil as subtitle in Yelp if you were listening, but no, we're like...
If you watch like the old Khmer movies, it's always like dubbed. Like you already know who the villain is gonna be or like who the love interests are, but I'm glad that was not dubbed. It was weird.
I am so, I always, I love foreign films and I can't say I love reading subtitles, but I'd rather hear it than hearing the dubbed. Because I grew up going to Cambodia, traveling in Asia, and then I remember in Cambodia watching Terminators, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, Yum Mowing Hơi. Arnold Schwarzenegger does not say Yum Mowing Hơi, he's like, I'll be back. So I was like, no,
All right, so we're going to do one last question because we are running out of time. Thank you so much, Loung, for being here. But this lady has had her hand up for the entire Q&A section. I pretty much think she deserves the last question.
Scott, thank you so much. My name is Kuntia, and seeing this movie, cinematography is amazing. And it's such that it's quite visceral to me. I went through this Khmer similar to this, rock timeline Loung did. And so I've always wanted to write. And I guess without sounding redundant, I mean, what can you say about that if anyone wants to write, someone who went through the same situation as you did?
Well, the cinematographer is Anthony Dodd Manto, and he shot Slumdog Millionaire. So that's visual poetry. You are absolutely correct. It is beautiful, and I got to know him quite well, and I kept saying, Anthony, it's so beautiful. So he said, Cambodia is beautiful. He couldn't have shot it if it wasn't beautiful. So I'm very, very thankful for that. In terms of writing, a writer writes. I start writing and keeping a journal and keeping a diary, and then years later I would turn my journals and diary into a book, into 3 books. I have First They Killed My Father, which is this, and then I have Lucky Child, that follows my life in America, and in a parallel lives, alternating chapters, my sister's life in Cambodia. And then I have Lulu in the Sky, that follows my experience of going back to Cambodia. And now I'm writing vampire, zombie, Buddhist mythology book.
So you're saying there's going to be a sequel?
It's going to be a fun story. So I think for writing, if you want to write, you have to, and you probably are already doing this already, but if you want to write, you have to develop a deep love affair with reading. There's no offense to people who say to me, I want to write. And my first question is, do you love to read? No, I want to write, the way people don't speak the way you write books. No, so you have to read because you can put words together, but reading gives you syntax and content and flow and poetry and music that, that you need to know in order to craft a story and to make beautiful prose. So you've got to do that. And the other thing, practicality-wise, when I wrote First They Killed My Father, I approached it like it was science fiction. I wrote it with all my senses. I wrote with a sense of touch, smell, taste, feel, and sight. And I also use 6 senses, either your spirit or your intuition. because people don't know Cambodia. And so you can't take anything you write, anything they read for granted. And so you have to create the sense of feel and the taste of air and the emotions of fear, because people just don't get it. So I actually approach my writing like it's science fiction. And then you just have to really be passionate about what you want to write about. Because when you sit down to write, and you need to put together 100 to 110,000 words, it's going to be a year, 2 years, 3 years of your life, and you've got to be able to be so passionate that you will focus on it for many years. Because if you lose steam and you lose love, it's never going to get done. So find a topic you absolutely love, cannot imagine not writing about it, and then stick to it.
So, Loung Ung, ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for